Hey there everyone, my name is Abhilash. You are watching Selenium Express and welcome to the 12th episode of Spring MVC Intermediate series. And in this video, I am going to implement the logic for our application. We have come a long way with this application. We have learned various concepts. Right now, my plan is to make this application work. We are going to implement the logic for this application. We are going to develop the service layer for this application, and most importantly, I'm going to tell you about one more concept, that is the session management. So obviously, if we are going to be a web developer, we should be having an understanding on the session management, how to work with the session, how to work with cookies, how to create sessions, and this is an amazing thing. So if you want to be a good web developer, then you should have a good understanding on session, cookies, and all this thing. And don't worry, we are going to implement all these things today. So this particular episode is going to be probably it is going to be a long episode, and if it will, then I'll be breaking this episode into 2 or 3 different parts. So make sure to watch this particular episode completely, and this is going to be so much fun today because we are going to make our application work. We have done a lot of coding so far, but all the stuffs are very internal. We have explored different areas on Spring MVC, and right now, let's work on our application a little and let's make this work. And after this videos, we will be going to the database section and we'll implement we will integrate our database with this particular application, and we will save the user data to the database. But before that, as I said, the session management, it is one of the very important topic, and I want to cover that in this particular video. Well, so let me share my screen. Okay, so I hope you guys can see my screen right now. Also, as I said, we are developing a love calculator application, and this is going to be our login page, and we have not designed this particular page yet. Whenever we'll be learning the Spring security, we'll be developing this particular page. But right now, let's say if the user does have his credentials, he can enter the username and password, and he can hit on sign in button. Right now, this is the home page, and we have developed this particular page. I think we have completed developing this particular page where the user can enter his name and the cross name. He will have a checkbox that he needs to agree that this is for fun, and he will hit the calculate button. And once he hit the calculate button, he will go to the next page. And here, we have to tell the user that, okay, our love calculator predicts that the username and cross name, you both are friend or enemy or what. So we have to write the logic for this particular thing. You can see Jack and Rose are friend. So we have to have a calculation logic. We can take the username, we can take the cross name, we can do some calculation. We will write a service for that, which will calculate the relation between the username and cross name, just for fun. And right now, today we are going to implement this send result to email. So right now, imagine that if Jack and Rose are friends, so Jack is the user here, so he is trying to calculate the probability with this particular app, and let's say he got the result as friend. Right now, he should able to send this result, this friend, whatever the result our application predicts, that particular result, he will send it to an email. So if he wants to do it, then obviously he can do that with our application by hitting this particular link called send result to email. So if you hit this link, we are going to design this particular page today. Okay, it is a very simple page, but the logic that we will be writing is going to be a little tricky, but you know what? It is very simple. So right now you can see it is saying, this particular page is saying, hi Jack. So the application is tracking the user preference. The application is tracking the username. So right now we are 3 pages away. Right now the login page, the home page, then the result page. Right now this is a new page, but still we can able to track the user. He is Jack. Okay, then we'll say him that, hey, enter your email. And if he enters his email right here, let's say he is entering jack@testmail.com, and right now if you want, you can send it. once you hit the send, then we will again say, hi Jack, still we are tracking the user and his name, whatever he has entered during the time of the login. And right now we'll say email is successfully sent to jack@testmail.com. So we will be able to send the result to his email. So this is one of the functionality we are going to implement today. That is going to be pretty much fun. But before that, one particular thing, as I said, if you go over all these things, right now he is entering his name here, Jack, right? Then he does calculate. We are tracking his name. Whenever he is clicking on send result to email, here also we are tracking his name, hi Jack, we are saying. Then again, he's entering his email, send. Again, we know what is the name he has entered, and we are also sending the result to his email. So the reason why I am stressing this particular thing, hi Jack, that's because I want to introduce the session management. In every pages of your application, or in every servlet, or in every controller, you should have the access of the username, right? So we need to track the user who he is, and we'll be doing that with the session management. So hopefully you are pretty good with the requirement right now. And if he does click on log out, he will be logged out of our application. This is the functionality we are going to implement later, but let's start with these two pages, right? This is so we will redesign this particular result page, and we will introduce a link here, and then we will design this particular page, the email page, okay, where we will actually send the email. Then once he hit it, once he hit the send button, he will go to a different page. So we will be designing two more pages right now, and once we have completed doing that, then we will implement the logic. So what to wait for? Let's get started. Alright, so right now I am on my STS, and I have already deployed this particular project on Tomcat. It is up and running. And right now, let me check how much we have coded so far, because I have completely forget everything. I'm shooting this video after a month or something. I'm really sorry about it, but I didn't have any time to shoot it. Anyhow, today we are going to complete this particular project, and at least we will make it work. This is my home page. So in my home page, let's say Sheldon here for the URL name, and crush name, let's say Penny. And let me hit this, I'm agreeing this thing, and calculate. Okay, this is the result page, right? But our result page, something we have developed our result page, but we are just logging the name. But if I see the requirement, we need to do something like this, right? So Jack and Rose are friends. This is the thing we'll be getting from the backend, right? We will write a service for this, and we'll be writing the service, and we will be tracking that result in our front end. So okay, this is one thing we are going to do, and we will be introduce this particular link, send result to email. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, I will go to my STS. Okay, so first of all, let me open the controller of this. So if I'll go to LC controllers, and right here I have LC app controller, and right here I have my home page. And once my user hit the submit button, I am going to the result page. So I'll go to the result page here. So let me open the result page under my view. And right here, actually I'm logging my username and crush name. That's why I am getting these things right here. So what I'm going to do right now, let me change the structure of this particular page. So let me say H2 here, and I'll say the love calculator predicts. I'll say BR, I'll give a break after this, and I'll say username. The username will be this, and the crush name, okay, I'll say username and crush name. This will be dynamically retrieved, okay, from the user info. This user info is probably my model attribute, and from here I'm retrieving it, and I'll say R, and I'll give another break, and right here I'm going to give them the result, right? This result I will be getting it from the backend, okay, from my LC app controller. Whenever I am actually going to the result page, before I'll go to the result page, what I'll do here, I will calculate the result. And how I will calculate the result? And obviously from the user info DTO, okay, whenever I'm showing the home page, okay, if I'll go here, if I go back, this is my home page. The user will enter his name and his cross name. When he hit the calculate button, then I will be getting this DTO, right? This user info DTO, and I will be having all his values. And from here I can see I have the username, I have the cross name. So from this DTO, from this user info DTO, I will get the username and cross name. I can get it, and then I'll write some logic. That we will write some logic there, and that logic will do what? It will take the username and cross name, then will apply over a formula, and it will say, okay, you guys are friend, you guys are enemy. Okay, so my intention here, write a service which will calculate the love percentage between the user and the crush, between the username and the crush name. Okay, this particular thing, this particular code we are going to write here. Then we will, whatever the result we will calculate, that particular result we will be sending to the result page, and inside the result page right here we will be retrieving that particular result, whatever we'll be sending from our controller. Pretty simple, right? So for now, let me hard code it. Let me hard code it for now. Let's say friend, you guys are friend. Okay, so this is the value we'll be getting from the backend, and for now let me hard code it, and I hope that we all are on the same page right now. Okay, cool. So that's looking good. And after this, what I can do, I'll give a BR right now, and right here I will have a link, right? So let me have a anchor tag here, and let me say href here, and I will write my URL right here, and this URL, in this URL I'll say send a result to email. Okay, let's say to your email. We can say something just like this. Okay, let me save everything. Let me do save all, and let me wait till my server reload the changes. And once it's done, I am going to go to my home page here, and right here, okay, let me wait till my server reload the changes. Then we are going to see where we are, and from here we are going to pick up and we are going to start our development process. Okay, so right now, okay, reloading completed. And right now what I'm going to do here, let's say this is my home page. I'll do calculate, and well, this is what I want. Don't worry about the text right now. I know these are not looking so beautiful right now, but we are going to apply some style sheet over it, and we will make it beautiful. I'll actually call one of my front-end developer friend, and I'll just get him over a Zoom call or something. I will have them develop this particular thing, and we will integrate some style sheet with our application also, and I will record that particular call and I'll publish it on YouTube, right? So the styling stuff, no worry about that right now. Let's write the logic and let's make this application work, right? That's what I want right now. Cool. So the love calculator predicts Sheldon and Penny. This is my username and crush name. You both are friend. And if you want, you can actually send this result to your email. So whenever you will hit this link, actually right now I need to develop a page. So whenever the user click this link right now, he will go to the email page, whatever I have shown you a couple of minutes before. Okay, so right now let's go ahead and let's develop this particular link, right? So whenever we are going to click on this link, we should redirect to the email page. So I have already told you that I am going to develop this particular page right now. Okay, so let me develop this particular page, and for this let me create a new controller. So right here inside controller, let me create a new controller. Let me say class, and let me say email controller. Cool. So right now my email controller is ready. So let me do the basic setup first. Let me write controller here just to make it a controller. And let me write a simple method here, public string send email. Let me say something just like this. And right here, I will have a request mapping for this, request mapping. And in this request mapping, I'm going to say something like send email. And right here, I'm going to return him a email page. So I'll say send email page. Okay, this is the page I'm going to return. And cool. So this is what we are going to have. So inside the email page, what are the attributes that we are going to have? Again, if I'll go to my requirement, I will have something like a text box here. Okay, I'll have a text box, and this is going to be the email text box, right? So the user email text box. And the way I'm going to do it, I will create a new DTO right now. So I'll go to my API package, and inside my API package, I'm going to create a new class, and this is going to be my DTO class, and I will name it as email DTO. And right now inside this email DTO, let me have one field, private string user email. Okay, and right now let me do what? Let me hit command 1, create getter and setter, and let me hit OK. So I'll get the getter and setter for my email. Let me hit command S to save. And right here, I'll do what? I'll have a model attribute here. Okay, let me say model attribute. And I will say email DTO, and here I am going to say email DTO and email DTO. Let me give some variable name, and there you go. So I have my send email page ready. Okay, it's not ready. Let me create one. Let me do command C here, and let me go to the view, and let me create a new JSP page. So I'll say, let me say other, and right here let me say JSP, and I'll create a new JSP file, and I will say it send email page.jsp. I'll hit finish. Okay, so right here what I'm going to have, I'm going to have a form. I am going to have a form, but I do not have the form tag here. So I'll go to my home page right now, and I will copy this tag leaf for form, and let me close this one, and inside here in the space let me paste the tag leaf for form. Okay, so that I can access the form element right now, and I'll say form, and right here inside this form I'll have one text box. So I'll say label, and the label will be what? I do not remember that. Let me see here, right here, your email ID. And this will be a text box. There is hijack. I mean the username we need to track, and we need to give him a header here. Okay, no problem. Let me develop it quickly. STS. So I'll say enter your email. Okay, and I'll say right here, I'll say form input, and right here I'll give the path as, what is the path name? Email DTO. Copy this name. And right here I'm going to paste it. Okay, and cool. So I have this thing right here, and right now I'll have a input, and I'll have a submit button. So I'll say type equal to submit, and value equal to send. Cool. So I have this page ready. So right now it's looking good, and also I need to do one thing. I will give him a header here, h1. And right here I can say hi, and I'll say hi username. Okay, here I should print the user's name. I'm going to come back to this particular point, how we are going to display the username, but for now let me only say hi. And right here I can give h2 here, and I can say send result to your email. Okay, cool. This looks good right now. And this is going to be my form, and here in this form I'll also give a action, And once we hit submit button of this, we should go to a page. Let's say this is send email. We'll say process. I can simply say process email. Okay, and I will say method equal to, let me just have a get request. No problem. So my form is ready. So right now I can copy this URL and I will go to the email controller, and right here I'll do what? I'll copy this method here. I'm again going to paste it, and this time this is going to be my URL. So let me paste it. This is going to be my email, and let me say process email or something. Let me say process email, and right here I'll say email DTO, and I will return the user a page called process email page. Okay, this is the page I'm going to return to the user. Let me delete it, and let me hit Command A, Command Shift F to format everything. And this looks good right now. Let me only copy this page, and I am going to do what? I'm going to create another JSP page. JSP, I'll say JSP file, and let me say process email page.jsp. There you go. So we are done creating our process email page, and again here we'll say hi and the username, whatever the username will be, and I'm going to come back to this particular point. But after this, I'll say I'll have a label here, and here I'll say email successfully sent to, whatever the email he has entered. And in this case, if I'll go to send email page, my model attribute name is what? Okay, I have not given my model attribute name here. Let me say model attribute, and I will also give the model attribute name here. Let me say this is the model attribute name. Let me copy this. I'll go to send email page. I'll process the model attribute name here, and right now whenever I'll go to the process email request, so this will return this particular page, and here I will get the email entered by user from the model attribute. I'll say email DTO right here. So I think we are all set right now. The only thing that I need to do, I will copy this send email from here. I will go to the result page, and inside this result page I'll do what? Inside this link send result to email, I'll do what? Let me paste this link, and also I'll say what is my application context root. I'll go here, right click, properties. I'll copy my application context root here. So I'll go to web project setting. This is the context root. Let me Command C, Command V it. Let me do cancel, and let me paste the context root right here. And there you go, right? It's over. Okay. So now let me do Command S to save everything, and let me do save all. And right now let me wait till the server reload my changes, and after that I can reload my application, and let me see whether my domain is ready. And then we will go ahead and we will implement the session management, and also we'll implement cookies, we will implement the logic, and we will make our application work. So much work we need to do right now. So I'm all set for this. Only the thing is, my server need to reload the changes. So where are you, man? Okay, let me stop this. Probably my system got slow or something. So let me restart the server. Until my server gets started, tell me, how are you guys? Okay, are you guys doing well? You guys are, I think you guys are safe at your home. You guys are enjoying the vacation. I shouldn't be saying this. It's a very bad situation for our country and for the whole world. But anyhow, I hope that you guys are spending some good time with your family and you are safe at home. So right now our server has started. So right now let me go ahead and let me, test my application again. Okay, so let me go back. Let's say this is Sheldon and Penny, the username and crush name. Calculate. Okay, let me drag this server. Let me minimize this, and let me minimize this as well, and there you go. Okay, so right now let's say Sheldon and Penny are friend. So send result to your email. Hit this link. Okay, so hi. Then I'll be getting some name here. This is the thing that I'm going to implement right now. But the important thing is that I have already done this particular page development, so that the user will enter his email address, gmail.com. And right now, if he hits send, he should be able to go to the next page, and he's saying email successfully sent to, okay, this is the object name. So I should want to display the object name here, email dto dot user email, probably command S. So now let me go to here, let me refresh the page. Well, it's sent to this. Cool. So right now our setup is ready. So let's go ahead. Right now, let's start implementing our features, the application features, one by one. So let's get started right now. Okay, so I hope the basic setup is done. Right now it's time to implement the first task, right? Let me give you a challenge, okay? Let me see how you guys are actually thinking. So right now we are on our home page, right? I have entered the username and the crush name right here. Let's say the username is Sheldon, and right now I'm going to hit the calculate button. And right now it's saying Sheldon and Penny are friend. And right now this is my username or your name. The next thing that I'm going to do here, whenever the user clicks here, send result to your email, right here I am going to display the username right here. Then how I am going to achieve it? And again, let's say the user is entering something just like this, something just testmail.com, and right here when he clicks send, again we need to show him his name just right here. Then how we can keep track of the username? How can we know that who is the user who has logged into our application? This is not pretty challenging, but I'm going to see how you guys are thinking. So right now we can do what? You can pause the video right now and put your thoughts in the comment section. Okay, that's pretty fine. Right now I'm going to explain you how I'm going to do it, and we'll have 2-3 approaches for this. But what do you think right now? Can we do it with the normal model attribute, or we need something special here? Okay, so pause the video right now and give me a comment and share me your thoughts. I want to see that how you guys are thinking right now. Cool. So let me go ahead. Let me say that I'm hitting the calculate button. So I'm getting the username right here. Now, whenever I'm clicking this, okay, right now, tell me how we are actually transferring the data so far. I have already told you about the request attribute, at request attribute, probably in the video number 4 or something. And then I have also taught you about the model attribute, right? Let's say whenever I click here, right, send result to your email, what is going to happen? This is basically a new request. Whenever I will click here, send result to your email, this is going to be a new request which is going to hit my server. Right now, when I click this, what is the new request here? /send email. So this particular URL goes to my server, and for this I have a controller here called email controller, and right here I have a handler method, and this method is actually handling the request which is called /send email, right? And then this particular is doing what? It is actually initializing this email DTO. It is creating a email DTO object, and this particular object is attached to my email form. I have already told you, I have already made you understand this particular thing. This email DTO I am using, okay, right here for this particular form, right? So actually it is doing what? It is creating the email DTO object and showing the user this particular form. Okay, that's why right now if I'll go here, right now I can see this particular form here. Okay, so right now if I will type something right here, whenever I click the send button and when I come to this particular page, this is the query string, and from here again we are retrieving our data by using the model attribute. And I do not want to get into those particular things because I believe that you have already understood them. But if you do not know how the model attribute works and all, you can again go back to video number 4 and you can see how the model attribute works. My intention of saying all these things is the model attribute, why we are basically using the model attribute. We are using the model attribute to transfer data from controller to view. If you see here inside the email controller, let's say right here, this is a good example. If you see here, right now I'm capturing the data from the URL. Just see here. If I talk about this particular page, process email request, this is the data that I am getting from my URL, right? Actually, I'm capturing all this data. Then I'm doing what? Then if I'll go to my controller, email controller, then I am storing all this data with this particular model attribute, and again I'm sending this attribute to the process email page, and through the model I'm transferring the data here, and right here inside this particular page I'm fetching the data by using the model attribute, which is email DTO in my case, right? This email DTO was my model attribute, right? This is the attribute I'm sending from my back end to front end, and in my front end I am actually fetching those particular data. So right now the problem here is the model will be destroyed whenever your request and response, this particular thing is done. So basically, whenever, let's say right now, if I click the send button, there is a request goes to the server and I got a response back, which is this particular page, right? Let's say I am hitting a URL, let's say love calculator / this is the URL I want to hit. I'll do enter, then a request goes to the server, and server give me the response back, which is this particular page. Right now server doesn't know who I am. If I'm actually right now, if I'm again giving some your name, crush name, again hitting this particular checkbox right here, again I'm trying to do calculate. If I'll do calculate, again a new request go to the server, and that request is /process homepage, and server gave me back this particular page. Now each time I click on a link, let's say I'm clicking on a link or I'm hitting a URL, that is a new request to the server, okay? And whenever a new request goes to the server, what happens is when the request reaches the server, there I'm handling the request, and using the model I'm setting some data with my model object, then I'm sending that object to the UI. And from the UI, I'm actually fetching the data. And once I fetch the data, I showed it to the user, then that is done. The model object get destroyed. Once the page is rendered, the model object get destroyed. If the model object get destroyed, whatever the data which is there inside the model object, that will also be destroyed. Right now the question is, if the model object is going to be destroyed, let's say right here, let's say, let me come from the first, I'm hitting calculate, I am capturing the username right here. So once this particular page got rendered, the model object got destroyed. So whatever the data was there inside the model object, that is destroyed. Right now, whenever I'm going to click here, send result to email, that will be a new request. Once I click here, it will go to a different handler method, which is /send email. And right now, how I'm going to capture that data, how I'm going to capture that username, that is the question. Because I do not have the model object right now, that is got destroyed. Once I hit the new link, no way you can capture the data from the model, right? So right now tell me how you are actually going to capture the username in this particular page, and how you are going to display the username right here with hi Abhilash or hi Abhishek or hi Frank or Stephanie or something just like that right here. So the first thing we can do, the easiest solution will be, we can send the data with URL, right? So what is the problem we'll have if we send the data with URL? I'm going to tell you that, but first let me implement the same thing. Okay, so let me go back. From here, I'm hitting this URL, right? So this particular page is my result page. So let me go to the result page right here. Okay, inside this result page, I'm calling this /send email URL. Here, I will give a slash and I will send the name here. Let's say I will send something like Abhilash right here. And this Abhilash is going to be the username. So how can I dynamically send the username? What is my username? This is the username, right? So I can copy this and I can paste it right here. And I'll say Command S. And there you go. It's done, right? So let me stop my server and let me restart my server. And right now, let me check if I will get this particular username in the URL. If I will get this username attached with my URL, I can capture that data from the URL and I can use it inside my controller. And again, I can send that data to the next page using the model attribute. Okay, I'll tell you how. Okay, so let me start my server and it's already started. Right now, let me go to the browser here. Let me come from the first. Let's say your name is Abhilash. My name is Abhilash. Let me hit the calculate button. Right now, I'm going to the process home page and it's saying username is Abhilash and cross name is whatever I have entered. Right now, whenever I hit this link, let me see with my URL, this particular username is going to the next URL or not. Okay, so let me click here. And obviously, I'm getting a 404. I'll tell you why. But cool. So you can observe the URL right now is saying send email /Abhilash, right? So my username is attached with this URL, right? So let me go back. Let me say Abhilash123. Let me check this time. Right here, Abhilash123. So right now, I'm able to send the username through the URL to the next page. Right now, here in this page, here inside this request /send email, I am going to capture the data which is attached with this URL, right? Okay, so again, right now, I'm going to give you another challenge. That is how you are going to capture this particular data here. This is my first question. Okay, the second question is why you are getting a 404 why you are getting this 404 error right here. The answer is pretty simple. It is saying no mapping no mapping. This is a get request /spring love calculator /send email /Abhilash123. We do not have a request mapping for this. That's why we are getting the 404 error right here, because there is no handler method to handle this request, because we have a handler method for /send email. If I'll go to the email controller, we have a handler method for this /send email. But right now my URL looks something just like this /send email /Abhilash123. Right now, how I'm going to capture the data, isn't it? Okay, one thing you can do, if you'll go to your result page right now, if you are going to create a query string, instead of giving the name directly right here, if we'll give something just like this question mark, because I want to set some query string, and then my key value pair, let's say key name is username equals this is going to be my username value. If I'll do Command S, and right now if I'm going to hit that particular URL, that is going to work fine. But okay, let me show you that this is going to work fine. So this is something like I'm sending something inside a query string, and you already know how to retrieve data from a query string. You can use @request_param or something, and you can get the data from the URL, right? Inside your controller method, right? So we have already discussed about all these things previously. Once I show you this thing, again, I'm going to revert it back, and I'm going to tell you also in those scenarios how we are going to handle the data, right? So let me wait till my server reload the changes, and it's initializing the dispatcher, as I can see on the log. So my server is started right now. If I'll go to this particular page right now, you can see if I'm going to hit calculate here, I'm going to go to the result page. Come on, man, go to the result page. Okay. Right now, if I'm going to hit this particular link, I'm damn sure I'm not going to get a 404 error right now. See here, I haven't got a 404 error because right now I send this thing as a query string, username equal to Abhilash123, and right now you can use request param inside your email controller right here. Then you can actually right here you can write request param and you can actually capture the data and you can send that to the next page, which is send email page, by creating a model or adding it some inside a model object or inside a model attribute. That is going to be pretty simple. But no, my requirement is that only. My requirement is that only. I do not want to write a query string right here. Instead, I'm going to directly attach it to the URL. I'm actually doing this because I want to show you a specific scenario, and in this case I want to see how you are going to handle the data, right? Because right now if you're going to see calculate send result to your email, and right now we are getting a 404 error because we do not have a handler mapping for this. Okay, so right now let's handle this particular scenario, and to do that I will go to my email controller, and right here I will do slash, and I will right here I am going to accept a username, right? This is how my link is, right? My link should be just something just like this, because if you see here, send email slash Abhilash123, this is going to be my username, but this is going to be dynamic, right? It's not going to be username. I will be getting something like Abhilash123 here, or I can get Abhilash Panigrahi here, or I can say something different, just like John or something else, just right here. So this will be dynamic, and to handle that I will put a curly brace here and right here I will say this is going to be my username, right? So Spring MVC right now knows that, okay, there is a curly brace here. That means this can be anything, right? And once I get this this particular data right here, I am going to actually accept the data right here. And for that, I will use an annotation called PathVariable, probably PathVariable, because I do not remember it, and I do not remember this stuff. I just randomly code. Okay, so right here inside the path variable, what is my variable name? My variable name is going to be this username, whatever I have given there, command V, and right here I will say string, and I will give any name right here, but let me say for standard I'll say username only, username, and let me say comma. Okay, so I got my username right now here, and now I can actually send this username to send email page, right? So what I can do, I can create a model object right now. I can create a model, okay, and right here let me import this model here. Let me hit command shift O. This model will be imported. Yeah, error gone. And right here I will say what model dot add attribute, and for here I'll say username, and the attribute value I will say, let's say whatever I have captured from here, this is going to be my username. So username, command V, this is going to be a string, and let me transfer that to uppercase. Okay, so inside my page I want to show the uppercase value. So this is going to be my username. This is the value that I'll be fetching from my JSP page. And also, as I have already created the model object, let me remove this model attribute from here, and I will do what? I will add it in the other way. So just like this, I'll say model dot add attribute key value pair, and the name is whatever I have given, email DTO, and this is my email DTO object, right? So I can say new email. Okay, there you go. Because whenever I say at model attribute email DTO, at that time Spring creates the email DTO object for myself. But right now I am manually adding it to the model. So I'll say, okay, this is my attribute name, and please create a new DTO object and show the user this particular page. Okay, cool. So right now user name is also there, user email DTO also I have added to the model. That will go to the send email page. Let me copy the username. I'll be sending that to the send email page, and right here I'll say hi, and from here I'll say hi username, command S, and let me restart my application. Okay, so I think my computer need a boot off because it's getting slow right now and the server is not automatically restarting. So right now let me wait till my server reload the changes, and till my server restarts again, tell me how much comfortable right now you are feeling with Spring MVC. Can we jump to Spring Boot right now? Okay, so right now my server has started, reloading completed. So right now let me go to the first page again. Okay, let's say Abhilash123, let me hit calculate. So this particular page loads again. So right now the username is Abhilash123, send result to email, and boom, something happened. We didn't get the 404 error, but the problem here is we are not getting the name here. Okay, and why we are not getting the name here? That's because probably if I'll go to the send email page right here, okay, I haven't given the dollar symbol, command S right now. Hopefully this works this time. Refresh the page. Yeah, there you go. Abhilash123, all are in caps, and this is how I have captured the data from the URL, and inside my controller I have converted the data to uppercases. And again, right now I'm making sure it is there available inside my web page. So I have done a good job right here. Okay, so hopefully right now you understand what is the need of path variable, and I have given you a very simple example here inside the email controller, how you can make your URL dynamic and how you can capture data from the user by using the path variable, right? You can have a URL just like this, just like send email / usernames hobby. Okay, you can create a big URL just like this, and you can tell user to enter the data just like send email / Abhilash / cricket. Then you can keep capturing those data with path variable, and whatever you want to do with that data you can do that, right? And one more thing, guys, if you have a very big URL just like this, you do not have to write path variable username, then string username, and again path variable hobby, string hobby. You do not need to write multiple path variable right here. If you want, you can do what? You can simply write path variable, then remove this, and you can create a map here, right? You can create a map, you can write string, a string here, what the key value pair will be string, and you can write let's say path variable, some variable name you will give, and that's it. So right now what you can do just like this, pathvar dot get, okay, and here you can give the object name. Let's say for username you can copy this, you can paste username right here, then you can store the username inside a particular string. Let's say string username equal to this, right? Similarly for hobby, you can again copy this and paste it right here, and you can write hobby here, and you can capture the hobby just right here. And again, you can do whatever you want to do with all these variables, but the point here that I want to make, if you want to accept multiple things from the URL from a user, you can use the map instead of writing multiple path variables right here. So just want to let you know about this particular feature, but let me revert back the things for now, because I am not going to use this particular URL stop. I'm going to use a session attribute. But before I implement that, let me ask you one particular question. Okay, let me undo this. This is how my code was previously, right? Cool. Let me tell you why you should always avoid sending data with the URL. What is the problem you are going to get right here if you are going to keep sending the data, just like I did here in the result.jsp page? I was sending the data with the URL. So what is the disadvantage by doing things in this way? So let me tell you that first. So first of all, pause this video and think about for a minute. If we are going to send data just like this by adding it to the URL, what is going to be the disadvantage for of this approach? What is the problem that we are going to face? Think about it for a minute, and if you have any thoughts, put that in the comment section by pausing this video, because right now I'm going to tell you two different problems right now we are going to have if we are going to follow this approach. Okay, so right now let me give you the answer. If you are going to keep sending your data with URL, the problem you are going to face, first of all, if you are going to see here in our send email.jsp page, here we are actually needing the username, right? And also inside the process email.jsp page also we have to display the username right here. So that means inside the send email page from here, whenever I'll be going to this particular URL, again I need to attach the username with the URL, and I also need to handle that with my email controller process email inside this particular handler method. Then if I have 100 pages, I cannot keep sending data with URL, and because if I'm sending data again I need to accept it, right? It's going to be a pretty challenging task if I am actually needing the username in multiple pages. This is one particular problem. Another problem is if there is a user, let's say the username is Ashish, and let me do calculate. The username is Ashish here. So if I'll click on this link, it is saying hi Ashish, and it is retrieving these things from the URL, and it is saying hi Ashish. No problem with that. So the end user basically, he doesn't care about what is the data you are sending in the URL, how you are actually displaying the data. Let's say the end user can bookmark this page, or if the end user wants, he can just do Command C and he will send this to let's say to one of his friend, and he will say him that, hey, use this page. So let's say I am a different user. Let's say I am the end user's friend, and he sent me this URL through Facebook or Skype or something. So I got this URL, so I paste on my browser. It is a different browser. Previously I was this Eclipse browser. This is also a browser, right? So it is a different browser. Right now the end user given me the link. So what I did here, I just went to my Google Chrome and I'm pasting this link right here. And whenever I hit here, and again it is saying hi Ashish, but my name is not Ashish. My name is Abhilash, right? But as I got this URL right now, I can actually access the specific page that my friend sent me. I have not logged into this application. I do not know, I do not know about this application, but I just got the link. Okay, without logged into this application, without using the previous pages also, right now I am inside the email page, and right now this email page is saying me hi Ashish, but my name is Abhilash, right? So this is how bad whenever we are going to send data with the URL. Try to avoid it. Try to think about the scenario that you are trying to implement. This is not good, right? Not every time if you want to send data from one page to another page, do not just add it with the URL and send it to the next page. This is always not a good idea. Think about if it is a payment page, or if it is some kind of order received page, then if I would have hit this particular URL, that URL will call that specific handler method and the handler method will do that work, and again he'll give the response back, and I'll see this particular page on my screen. If it is a very sensitive page, then it will be a challenging task, because whenever you will be dealing with an order page or payment page, the things will be very difficult to handle, and unnecessary you will be breaking your application, right? This is just an example. Right here, this is the email sending page. The email sending page the user can only access when the user already used our application. But in this case, I am just a new user, but still I'm able to access this application, which is not correct, right? Which is not the way we wanted our users to use our application. So be very sure whenever you are sending data with the URL. So right now what I'm going to do here, I'll go back to my STS. So all these things that I have implemented here, this is just to show you. So I will remove all these things from the URL right here. And also, inside the email controller, I'll go here and I'll remove all these things, because I do not want to send data with the URL. So right now, if I do not want to send data with the URL, then I need to implement something so that I will have the data, I will have the username, I will have this username available inside all the controllers so that I can access this username, right? Let's say if I want to use it inside this email, send email page, I can access the username. Okay, let's say I want to access this username right here inside this process email page, I can also access the username. Let's say if I want to access the username somewhere inside the email controller or registration controller or LC app controller, then I should have something. I should have stored the username somewhere so that I can access from all my pages, all my JSP pages, all my controllers. So what is that something? That something will be something called a session, right? So right now I'm going to tell you that how we can use session management. What is a session? What is cookies? How we can store our data inside a global place or inside our server memory, so that we can actually access the data from everywhere and from every place. Okay, so right now let me give you an introduction to session management and cookies. That's coming up next.